I have a pal called Dr. Andy Cope, and he's a doctor. An actual doctor. Well, he's not an actual doctor. Not like a regular doctor, but he is a doctor. That's confusing. He's a doctor of happiness. Literally. In fact, he's the UK's first and only doctor of happiness. How cool's that? He also happens to be one of the nicest guys in the world. One of my heroes, and I love him, but don't tell him I said that. Even though I know he watches these. Damn. Anyway, he's not the kind of doctor that would maybe tell you you've got the common cold. He's like way more exciting. Like, I kind of see him as the opposite of that. He's kind of the doctor that might tell you you've got the less common worm. What does that mean? What are you talking about? The worm, Gavin? I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the worm, my friends. Maybe not, because I made it up. But it's this thing that, the way I think of it, it's this thing we all have inbuilt from birth. But unfortunately, many of us have forgotten how to do it. So what is it? It's our ability to see good, and I don't mean 20/20 vision. To be more specific, I mean see the good in all of experience. Now, examples could include the worm in all people, Mondays, work, failure, getting older, all situations. Whatever situation you're in right now, like right now, the worm kind of gives you this ability to turn things around. A day, a relationship, a career, a life, other people's lives, anyone's life, even yours. But the best thing about the worm is that it's hugely infectious, catching. It spreads with great ease. Now, the worm is incredibly easy to diagnose, and sufferers tend to spot signs of infection early on. Now, those closest to you are likely to spot it every bit as quick. In fact, if you've ever been struck by the worm, it's highly likely that they too are experiencing those symptoms. Now, what are the symptoms? Among other things, these symptoms include smiling, energy, laughter, positivity, the desire to do stuff, fire in your belly, friendliness, and sometimes the dreaded alternative dance outburst. Oh, it gets us all sometimes. So my mate Andy might not be a doctor in the medical sense, but in some ways I reckon kind of that we can all kind of be doctors of happiness. Not like Andy, like he's like next level actual doctor of happiness, but kind of. Maybe we're more like the prescribers of happiness. We're the chemist. Oh, that's wrong. The pharmacist, probably not. Sort of. If we want to be. It's essentially a mindset, a choice. You could alternatively wake up every day and choose to see the cold in everything or everyone. If that's how you want to choose to live your life. In this role, we don't need to diagnose anyone with the flu. That's for medical doctors. We could, of course, diagnose the fool. Play with those letters a wee bit. There are no flu jags here, but we all probably know a couple of folk who could do with a few more shots of the fool. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the fool. Probably not, because I made it up. It's how you feel when life is good. Full heart, full energy, full relationships, a full cup, but not just a cup. Half full, full to the top, the brim, the white hot passionate brim, as Roald Dahl called it. Now, I'm definitely not suggesting physical checkups either. Keep your hands to yourself, people. Remember, you're not an actual doctor, but definitely prescribe massive rockets up the arse. Not literally, not a real one you'd break. Actually, you'd definitely 100% die. A metaphorical rocket, of course. Life-changing at worst. And as those, again, we'll call ourselves doctors of happiness, not a proper one, you can dish them out. How do we do this, though? With love, kindness, positivity, energy, respect, enthusiasm, and cuddles. Yes, fucking cuddles. Love cuddles. Cuddles make the world go round. Don't even try and deny it. They're magic. But I'm asking you today to dish out those rockets as soon as it's safe to do so. Rocket cuddles on prescription. Fire them up, point them in all sorts of directions, and send them off. Rocket cuddles. It might sound silly, but see if you Google how to be happy or what makes people happy, you're going to find millions of pages rammed full with all sorts of weird and wonderful ideas. And some of them will be perfect for you. Some will be perhaps of less help to you, particularly not up your street. And some, let's be honest, will just be pure happy, clappy shite. You're definitely not going to find anything about rocket cuddles. But what you will find, though, across the internet is definite themes that start to emerge every site that you look at, every book that you read. And among those themes are simplicity, living in the present, gratitude, kindness. And then there's the more obvious ones like healthy food, sleep and exercise. The thing is, happiness will likely always be treated by most as the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the light at the end of the tunnel, an everlasting chase, a crazy competition amongst all of us. We treat it like it's a race, but there's no chase. It's definitely not a race, and as soon as everyone realises this, the better. It's not about how busy we can be or how much money we can make. It's not about the size of your house. It's not about the kind of car that you drive, how shiny your life is. Do you know what? No one gives a fuck about this stuff. And see, when we die, and we will all die, none of this will be discussed at our funerals. People will be far too busy discussing what kind of human being you were. And you'll either be remembered as one of the good guys or an arsehole.